15 years, I've been a teacher. I am also a professional local realtor. After the Great Recession of 2008, I realized how important it is to have multiple streams of income to support my family and expand my charitable giving. In this adventure, I'm not alone. Today, nearly 50% of Americans have multiple revenue sources. This is why I'm hosting Streams, a show dedicated to why people have pursued work beyond their 9 to 5s. Well, here we are, and happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Streams. Obviously, I am your host, John Brawlis, and we're going to start off this week, and just in pretty much every week heretofore, with the Stream of the Week. Okay, and it's kind of a segment we started last week, and so we'll go ahead and get started with that. And so the Stream of the Week this week, you might initially get a little bit afraid, but it's okay. But that is Tutor. All right. And actually, in looking at some of the sources I look at, Tutor is one of the more popular ways to generate an alternative revenue stream, particularly in these times, because so many parents are on edge and feeling the anxiety of school being kind of an untraditional way with respect to COVID-19 and whatever. And so, not that I'm sitting here and advocating capitalizing on people's anxieties, but the reality is that it does create a market. And so that's this week's Stream of the Week. If that intrigues you at all, look into it. If you have particular skill set with, I would say particularly in the areas of math and reading and writing, then go for it. Just dive right in. Okay. And so that's this week's Stream of the Week. Now, my guest this week, I am very excited to have her on board. And boy, I tell you, throughout, this is the fifth episode that we've done thus far, and for every week, I don't think there's been this many people who have contacted me and saying, "Hey, I know her. And so clearly. So clearly there's quite a buzz around my next guest. And so without further ado, I'm glad to welcome aboard Payge Denver. So Payge, welcome.
How are you?
Oh boy. Well, hey, just just doing the thing. So yeah, so we spoke a little bit before the show got started, but walk us through a little bit. A few years ago, you got into the idea of generating another revenue stream. So why? What was your why?
Okay. Well, yeah, I have a lot of reasons why I think multiple streams of income are super beneficial and important, but I'm going to give you my quick backstory. So my name is Payge. Obviously, I am 36 and I have 7 kids. Okay. So that is one, very unusual in this day and age, but also two, to be, my age and not working full time. I needed to find a way to generate some sort of income. My husband's a teacher and he's a football coach. But I always wanted to be able to contribute in some way. But when you have kid after kid after kid, my parents are still young. It wasn't like I had, easy, free childcare or anything like that. So I've always kind of been trying to find a way to generate income for our family, for vacations and groceries and car payments, whatever, you name it. Yeah. So that was always important to me, but it had to be conducive with our lives because I didn't want to miss anything. Like I wanted to be as present as I could, and life's stressful and, everything like that. So when my husband and I got married, he was working 2 jobs. He wasn't employed as a teacher yet. So he was gone quite a bit. And then he ended up going back to school to get his master's. Well, we had just paid off our undergrad student loan debt. And I'm like, I don't want to do that again. So I'll go get a job, which I got at a country club in Lake Orion during the summers. So it, again, didn't conflict. And that was really good. Like, he was home or I was home, and I made pretty good money, and I created a huge network and people that I still talk to these days. And that turned into me doing home parties and home bartending events. And I've done people's wakes and people's graduation parties. And, it kind of just became something else. Well, what I realized was I was trading, hour for dollar. And that became really, really challenging for me over time because
Wait,
be home
okay.
and,
All right,
and can you hear me?
yeah. Your mic just went out a little bit, but that's okay. I
Okay.
got you again. You're back
I'm
on.
back now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So long story short, I really wanted to find a way, and I knew with technology and the way the world was going, I'm like, I have to find a way to do something from home that I just could kind of fit into my life when I could. I'd seen people doing it. I just didn't know what was going to be for me. So I had been doing all these other jobs. I definitely believe in hard work and bringing in income and not going into debt. We've always saved up, paid for cash, saved up, paid things for cash just because then we're not in over our heads where that's added stress on a family. So,
Yeah.
but my kids were getting into travel sports. They were getting into all sorts of, activities, and nights and weekends is where you make your most money in the service industry. So I was like, well, what's the point? I'm missing everything. Like, I didn't want to do that. So I ended up finding it was kind of by fluke, which I think most businesses end up being by fluke. But I started as a customer with the company I'm currently with, and they are anti-aging, hair care, and skincare. So I had, because of having so many kids, I had trouble with my hair over time because it just does a toll to your hair and skin. So I ended up reaching up to a stylist friend of mine from high school. And I said, I really want to try these. So the business was not like initially the issue. I fell in love with the product. A couple months later, I realized that there was an opportunity to make money. And I had already been telling everyone about it anyway. So I thought, why wouldn't I do this? Like, I'm just sending her all my people, and so I ended up upgrading. And the rest has been history. When I entered, because it's direct sales, I was really kind of unsure of how it worked. I wasn't really into social media too much. I had kind of a bad taste in my mouth from previous experiences. So I didn't really know how it was going to go. But the more I'm into it, now I'm 2 years in, the more I just realized that in any business that you're in, if you are a professional, you take it seriously, you know what you're talking about, and you really try to put other people first, and you try to make them your priority, and you try to help them and not look at everyone like a dollar sign, that you'll do pretty well. So that was kind of my whole focus. I said, yes, of course, I want my family to have this opportunity, but I also am more concerned about the people that I'm talking to. Like, they are obviously coming to me for a reason. They obviously have a need of some sort. So it's been really fun. I've been able to mentor people, which I've always wanted to do because I've been, an athlete my whole life, and I was a coach too. So I've missed that part. So I've been able to mentor people. I've been able to grow in that way. And also, I've been able to be home raising my kids, which is just a total win-win. So I can step away from my office. I can do stuff. I can do things at night, in the morning. Like, it's just kind of a dream come true for someone like me who just kind of wants it all. I want to be the mom, but I also want to have a career. And so it's been amazing. I feel so blessed and lucky that it came my way.
Yeah, and isn't it? Yeah, just a couple of points there. One, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the book, the Go Giver, but what you're describing is so consistent with what the author is writing about. Whenever you're dealing with people, or like in a sales position or whatever, like we do, you're always trying to provide better service than what you're getting back in commission. That's it's kind of what the author talks about there. It was kind of really spoke to me there, and then on the other side. So when it comes to your schedule now, do you try to carve out the same time every day within your schedule to do the work, or is it just kind of, well, my family needs me here today, and so I'm not going to do that? Or so kind of walk me through your daily schedule, because as you mentioned, 7 kids, I have 2, and that's a lot. And so, I know that it's not just a consistent step up from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And so that's a lot. Obviously it's a lot. And so how do you manage, as you mentioned, I want it all. Okay. How do you manage that?
Yeah, good question. So I've always thought I was type A. Turns out I'm type B. So I think when you own a business, you really start learning a lot about yourself. So I struggle with the organization, the planning, but it became pretty overwhelming to try to, like I said, do it all. Like, yeah, I want to do it all, but you're right. Like, you have to somehow carve out and make everything a priority. So I had to really find that type A part of myself. And so I do. I have a very rigid that I stick to morning ritual, that I get up before my kids get up. I make sure that I read some sort of personal development. I do my daily prayer at that time. And I kind of get my mind right for the day. And if I haven't done it the night before, then I plan out my day that way. So it's like I have to make sure that I'm intentional with my time. So I want to carve out time for my kids. I want to carve out time to make sure that, everyone's fed, everyone's going to practice when they need to. Luke and I get time together, my husband, and I'm doing my business. But I do set an alarm on my phone. So I am doing my business at the same time every single day, at least an hour. So the kids know. I do it when my toddler's napping because she's the most high maintenance right now. So when she naps, I do that. So yeah, I've been able to kind of find my way. I kind of finagle every week a little bit differently. Not every day looks the same, but I do try to make sure that I make my business a priority. Otherwise, you kind of just let the days go by, and then it's not really a business. It's just a hobby.
Just a hobby.
And for me, I want it to be a business, so I have to treat it as such. And so, yeah, I think just the planning part of it, waking up in the morning and making sure I have my mind right for the day, and then closing out my day for the next day has been really helpful for me. So I definitely have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. And so, as kind of as you're walking in terms of carving out the specific time, I really hope for the millions of people watching at home right now, that they really took note of that, because in my opinion, that really speaks to me very clearly as well, because of exactly what we were talking about already, right? To where and you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about, well, is this a business or is it a hobby? Well, a hobby you can do anytime, right? And okay, if I can, maybe just close a couple of deals a month, or sell a couple of units, move a couple of units, by the time summer rolls around and everything. Well, no, by the sounds of things, that's not your goal. And so in order to meet the revenue streams and what you're talking about, you have to run it like a business, and have the dedicated space, the dedicated time there. And so that is a big piece that I hope our watchers, our viewers at home, were able to pick up on as well. And so, all right, so this is where you're at right now. All right. If we were to go forward, say, 5 years, 10 years down the road, where would you like to be? Where would you see things going?
Well, that's kind of the beauty of it. I genuinely want to still be with the company I'm with. I very much aligned values with the company. I have aligned, dreams and kind of, everything that they have. I very much fit into what, and not every company is for everyone, but that for me. So I hope to stay with them long term. But with each opportunity presents another opportunity. 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd be doing this today. So I'm kind of it's made me more open. I think it's just made me more aware that how many opportunities are really out there. And I think when it's the right time and it's the right thing, and you're willing to work towards a goal that looks, like something you can align yourself with, then I'm on board for it. So my goal is just to keep growing. My goal is to keep helping people. And whether it be because, the reason I did this particular company, because there's a bunch of network marketing companies out there that are good, but mine is a need. Like every single person has to wash their hair. So it wasn't like I was trying to make someone do something they weren't already doing, which I thought was really important. So now my whole goal is just to grow my network, is to just find more people that are, need extra income, or, need help with their hair, skin, whatever's going on. And just grow my network that way. And then I hope that Luke and I can travel, and my boys will be getting bigger. So I really just want to enjoy them. My oldest son's going into high school, so he's embarking on a whole new realm of his life. And then I got a kid starting kindergarten. So I just don't want to miss anything. And I just think this is what I'm doing right now, is just opened my eyes to the abundance that life has to offer. And I'm just here for it all. I'm just welcoming it.
Yeah, and again, based on your story, you've got the advantage of authenticity as well, because the origin of how you got started was you were using it and you loved what was happening. And so you're like, okay, why wouldn't I go into business doing exactly that, right?
Yep.
And so because that can always be a difficult thing with any kind of sales is if you're trying to sell something that you don't really even believe in or are actually even using yourself. And so like your story, your testament is such a huge advantage in that situation. So so yeah.
And
so
I think that's why I've done well, is because I really do think that's why I've done pretty well, is because that it's just your story. Like, I don't have to be someone I'm not. Like, I went on here, John, and I was like, all right, well, this is what I want to say. I haven't even followed any of that. I just think, like, I just have a story in my heart, and that's all I want to share with people, because that's how it happened. Like, I'm not lying. I'm not scripting anything. It's just me, and this is where I'm going. So
yeah, it's one of the great one of the great quotes I've heard is "real recognizes real."
Yes.
Or authentic.
True.
So yeah, so it's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
And all right, and so just a couple of elements on your bio real quick. So you mentioned that your oldest is heading into high school, and your youngest is now how old?
Well, he's only 3 months.
Okay.
So I have a baby all the way up to 14, and we've had kids every couple of years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Name an age, I probably have one.
And then what's the breakdown of the 7?
Okay, so I have 5 boys and 2 girls.
Okay. All right. And is boy dominant more common amongst either yours or Luke's family, or?
Actually, Luke's family is his immediate family is more boy dominant, but the bigger side of his family is more girl dominant. My family is kind of a mix. So yeah, but I come from 2 sisters, so raising 5 boys, it's like foreign territory. It's crazy, but I love it.
Yeah, no, that's good though. That's good. Because I know, like, my situation is, it's girl dominant. In fact, in my own house, I was, it's my wife, my 2 girls, but even my cats are girls. So it's like, it is. I am the only dude, which has pros and cons, right? We had an exchange student a couple of years ago from Italy, and it was awesome having him here because I'm like, okay, finally someone understands me. But at the same time, the positive is, like, there's no question, who's the alpha male in the house, right? And so, as alpha as I could be, right?
Right.
But yeah, all right. Well, here's we're going to head to the part of the show that is become very popular amongst the fans, and so that is entering into the gauntlet. You're going to get 5 this or that questions, and you answer all 5 of them internal monologue. And for the folks watching at home, wait until I want you to type your answers into the chat function, either on Facebook or YouTube, whatever you're watching. And after the 5th question, I want you to hit enter. And then after that, we will ask Paige what her answers are. And if her answers match yours, then you will win I will send you a gift card to a Seattle-based coffee house. So you could probably guess which one. Legal, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, so whatever. But all right, Paige, are you ready to enter the gauntlet?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so this or that. First one. All right, so you mentioned vacation, you want to travel, don't want to miss out on it. All right, if you had to pick one, all right, you've got one vacation this summer. Would it be pure Michigan or Florida beaches? I didn't throw Disneyland in there because I figured that might be a little bit, not necessarily a direct apples to apples comparison.
Right.
So, all right, question 2. I know you come from an active athletic family. And so now this isn't what it seems. So as the mom of athletes, which which do you get more enjoyment of watching your kids play, baseball or football?
Okay. I'm writing them down.
No worries, no worries.
Okay.
All right. Question 3. This was a throwback and totally okay if you haven't seen these movies, but I had to throw it in there. All right. Better comedy, Airplane or Caddyshack?
I've seen them.
All right. All right.
Okay.
Okay. And question 4. I know that much like my guest from a couple weeks ago, you have loyalties to both Lake Orion and Clarkson. So we're going to see which downtown does it better. And so if you had to pick, okay, date night, if it's date night out with Luke, all right, Sagebrush or Hot?
Oh, this is a really good one. It's hard. Both? No. I love both.
All right, and the last question, which is just completely and totally random. I just had to come up with a 5th question. This is what I came up with. But I figured with kids in the house, kids love dinosaurs. And so favorite dinosaur, T-Rex or a raptor? The better predator, T-Rex or raptor?
Okay.
All right, so folks watching at home, if you should have been answering all along, go ahead and click submit. Send your answers in, and if your answers end up matching Paige's answers, then you will receive that gift card. All right, let's go back to question 1. All right, Paige, pure Michigan or Florida beaches?
I said Michigan. I love our beaches. I love Michigan summers so much. They just make me so happy and nostalgic. If you would have asked me in December, I would have picked Florida. But right now, I'm saying Michigan for sure.
It's an unbelievable state, right? It's like it's absolute garbage what we get from November through March. But then for some reason, like mid-May through October, you just forget all about it. You're like, oh, maybe I'll stick around here for a little bit,
Yes, exactly. So yeah, right now, currently Michigan.
Oh my goodness, right? So, all right, I'd probably agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
All right, question 2. As a parent watching, baseball or football?
So this was hard because we're in baseball season right now. And I do love watching my kids play baseball, but there's something about football. So I picked football. I really love watching my boys play football. It's just, I don't know, it's in me.
Yeah.
We're football.
What positions do they play?
In football or baseball?
In both, but football as well.
Okay. So, my older boys are more receivers, running backs, so they do that, but they also play defense too. They're cornerbacks. And then in baseball, they all pitch, and Brody plays shortstop. Adam is right field, third base, and then Zachary's third base.
Nice.
So yeah.
Strong arms.
Yeah.
Strong arms and good athletes. Now, has Luke shared some of his state record with the boys yet?
Oh, you know it. Absolutely. You know it. Yes.
Yeah. For those watching at home, Paige's husband holds a MHS, Michigan High School Athletic Association record for, is it number of pass attempts or number of completions, or is it both?
Both.
And so,
I don't know where he's at now. That was a while ago, but he was on there both for a while. I don't know what it is now.
And so, oh yeah, and I know he enjoys that every minute of it too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So, all right, question 3, the comedy question: Airplane or Caddyshack?
Caddyshack. It's like one of my favorites of all time. I mean, Airplane's good too, but oh man, Caddyshack. That top 5. Love it.
Oh, so quotable, so quotable. I feel like Airplane is like, if you're in the dad jokes, then Airplane would be your cup of tea. Whereas Caddyshack appeals to a much broader audience. So not that it's highbrow in any ways, but yeah. All right. And so here's your toughest question. All right.
It was tough.
You going downtown Orion or downtown Clarkson? Sagebrush or Honcho? Where are we going?
I'm kind of selling out Clarkson on this only because Sagebrush just holds a place in my heart. I grew up in Oxford, so we went to Sagebrush when it first opened. So I love Sagebrush so much. and I miss it. But I love honcho too. I don't know, that was really hard, but I picked sagebrush.
Yeah,
but I do love it.
A 1A and a 1B. That's okay. No, it's all good.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
All right, and our last completely random question: T-Rex or Raptor?
I know that works though. T-Rex for sure. We have so many T-Rexes running around this joint. No Raptors though. I feel like we should get one.
Yeah.
But yeah, the T-Rexes are hot around here for sure.
All right, all good. All right, so so Paige, you have survived the gauntlet, and thank you for sharing your story on on this being the fifth installment. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do here is I'm going to post the link to your webpage. I'm also going to add I will add the link. I will add the link into the chat function as well, so people can click directly. But if you are running any deals or any specials, please get into the business side here real quick and let us know exactly how we can help support you.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, referrals are always super helpful. We currently aren't doing any corporate specials right now. We run those sales periodically, and we just got done with one, so we don't have any going right now. As far as referrals, though, I always give referrals gifts. So even if it's not something you're into, if you refer someone to me, I always like to give coffee gift cards or Amazon gift cards or things like that, just for kind of getting my name out there and providing that kind of exposure. So, everything is just all about exposure. And I just cannot believe what a world we live in. Like, I got contacted from someone in the UK the other day, in Ireland, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, it truly is an unbelievable time to be alive. It's just so cool. So I just love the exposure. You can also DM me if you have any questions. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm actually a little bit more active on Instagram lately. But you can always, and I'm just Payge Denver at both. Super easy.
Okay.
So you can contact me either one of those, whether you have questions about starting a business or you have questions about any of our products. And I love it. So yeah, thank you.
Very good, very good. And so please check the link and check Paige's Instagram and Facebook and help support her business. I really appreciate it. Well, Payge, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, John.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And you're welcome back on anytime. I'm going to switch things over here real quick and so remind everybody that next week's show, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And my guest next week is going to be Bill Holbrook, who not only is a pastor, also a professional motivational speaker as well. And so excited to have Bill on next week. So we'll see you then. Until next time, thank you for being here and God bless.